Chase Lee Hockey with the blue futon, and we saw Top Gun Maverick. This movie that's supposed to come out in June 2020 is finally here 2 years later. And from 1986, we are like 30 years. Is it worth it for the sequel? Let's find out. So Top Gun Maverick, what's it about? It's a very simple premise, actually. 12 of the best Navy pilots have to go back to this Top Gun class for Tom Cruise, aka Maverick, to pick 6 of them to go to this undisclosed location and go in and get a uranium mine blown up without being seen and making it out alive. So did I like this movie? This is a fun movie, and I think it exceeds my expectation of what I was expecting from the first one. So with that, I'll give the negatives of the movie first. Yes, these might be some little nitpicky things, but it feels like there was 2 stories, and with the synopsis before, I think something changed. Because there's the Ed Harris storyline that I think could have been a little bit more and was more prominent, but something has changed because the Ed Harris storyline is basically drones are the future and Tom Cruise get out of the way. And that storyline kind of disappears. Yeah, it connects a little bit to John Hamm, but then after the Ed Harris part, which is in the movie very, very little, it goes more to this uranium mine storyline. So drones can't do that part of the storyline, so it's very interesting about how they decided to connect that storyline and they kind of put it on the back burner. Number 2, not kind of telling what country this uranium mine is in and the inconsistencies. Well, I know about that. Not a lot of people are going to know this, but for the F-14, that is only in Iran at this time. But then when you're doing these mountain ranges, it's snowy mountain caps for Russia. So you have Iranian plains or Russia terrain. So does that mix? Not so much. And the final song of Lady Gaga, to me, did not work at all in this movie. I was like, oh, that Lady Gaga song is totally not meshing well with this. Because the first moment is like, you have Kenny Rogers, you have The Who in the beginning. You're like, yeah, rock, 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 let's go fucking ham. And then you get Lady Gaga at the end. And you're like, I wasn't really expecting that, but go ahead. Other than those nitpicks, those action was phenomenal. The movie worked. What they did with Val Kilmer was sweet. It worked for what his condition is in real life. So doing that really worked well for Iceman. Tom Cruise did a great job. John Hamm did a great job. Glen Powell, to me, his cockiness was completely perfect, and he was almost like the star of the show, in my opinion. Miles Teller did a great job. Jennifer Connelly, great job. Ed Harris, great job whenever he was in it. Everyone in this movie played the parts to the T, and it was a fantastic job. The camera work, the cinematography of the plane scenes, I was in my seat going, ugh, and I wasn't even in the plane. So I was like, oh shit, I'm moving with the screen, and I was sweating. I gotta take a shower after this because some of it was very tense, and that deals with the storyline. Christopher McQueenie, he produced and also directed this. He also did a lot of Mission Impossibles, like he's doing right now, like Deadly Reckoning Part 1 and Part 2, and I'm pretty sure he did Fallout as well. But the story works on that aspect of not knowing who's going to survive this mission or who's going to die, because you're like, I don't know what's going to happen. I truly don't know who's living, who's dying. Is Hangman dying? Is Maverick dying? Is Payback dying? Is Bob dying? Is Phoenix dying? I don't know. And having that storyline in there is absolutely perfect to the T of keeping you guessing, like, oh shit, what's going to happen? Yeah, some people are going to say the second half, or not second half, sorry, the second part of the story slows down a bit with, Jennifer Connelly and Tom Cruise. Yeah, you could say it slows down a bit, but there is some good family dynamics of that football scene, as well as Jennifer Connelly's daughter. There's some good humor connected to that and very good, like, heartstring moments, and you're like, I gotta enjoy that as a whole. I will say one thing for the ending. I was expecting Owen Wilson to show up. I wanted Owen Wilson to show up. And if you don't know what I mean, there's a movie he was in 2001 where you're like, hey, ha, I feel like he should be in this movie. Like, wow. Owen Wilson should totally be in this movie. Like, wow. But overall, Top Gun Maverick is a fun time in the movies. Like I said, small nitpicks, inconsistencies with countries and planes, the song, and just little stuff like that where you're like, okay, but my gosh, the hype of the beginning was like, fuck yeah, let's get this going. And the overall story and what we're trying to connect with all these characters. So Top Gun is totally worth your time in the movie theater. So Top Gun Maverick will receive a 4.5 out of 5 of Futons equals at 90%. It is an improvement on the first one, but like someone said, you can't have this movie without the first one because 60% of this movie is the first one with connecting Iceman, connecting Goose, connecting Maverick, and connecting all those characters in this amazing ball of fun. So let's see the critics' news scores gave this one. Oh, and before I do this, there's an Air Force commercial at the beginning of the Navy movie. So you can tell Air Force and Navy right now are like mashing. They're mad at each other. They have critics a 97% with 166 of them. Audience scores at a 100% with fewer than 50. That's going to change, but that's what it's at right now. Here's critic consensus. Top Gun Maverick pulls off a feat even trickier than a 4G inverted dive. I was inverted. Delivering a long, bladed sequel that surpasses his predecessor in a wildly entertaining style. I was inverted. Oh, shit. Fun time in the movies. I highly recommend it. Like I said, I think it's going to do like 160 at the box office this weekend, including the 4-day weekend. It could hit 200. I truly think it could. And Paramount did a good thing of saying, Netflix, you ain't buying this shit. So do you agree with my 90%, the 97, or the 100? Chase you like with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Bluetonians. You Blue Futonians, thank you for watching. Have a great day. And seriously, I'm showering. I'm sweaty because of this movie.